So, what did I do over the weekend? Well, I went back out to the theaters and I saw a movie. A single movie this time. I saw The Marvels. Yeah, The Marvels. Remember that movie? I think the trailer was last year. And it was like, coming this day. Then it got delayed. But now it's coming on this day. And I saw it on this day. So, what did I think of the movie? It's fine. You know, just fine. It wasn't one of my favorite of the Marvel movies I've seen, especially this year. This year has been stacked in terms of superhero movies being really good. Honestly, I should have done a review on Blue Beetle because I actually had a lot to say on that movie. That movie was great. But this isn't the Blue Beetle review. This is the Marvels review. And, you know, just like Hideo Kojima's tweet, you know, I saw The Marvels in a movie theater. And, you know, see, I hate doing these detours. You know, I gotta say this. The movie theater experience these days kind of sucks. So here's my experience seeing the movie in theaters today. So, I get to the theater. The showing is at 11 a.m. I get there 10:50. I get in my seat. I'm like, okay, I got a few minutes before it starts. 11 o'clock hits. That's usually when the screening begins. The lights start to dim. It's like, okay, trailer time. Let me put my phone away, put it in silent, do all that. Then they keep playing commercials. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then they keep playing more commercials. What time is it? It's 11:06. They're still playing commercials. And they keep playing more commercials. Then finally at 11:12, the Welcome to Regal starts playing. I'm like, oh my god, it was 12 minutes of extra commercials for no reason. The lights went down and there were 12 minutes of extra commercials. Then the trailers start. And I'm like, okay, so it's probably going to be like 12-ish minutes of trailers. Why did the trailers go on so long? They played like 12 trailers. And then at one point, they went to a commercial. Then they went back to trailers again. And then they played like 4 more trailers after that. I was getting so sick. Legit, I could hear the people next to me. And even they were like, good God, how many trailers are there? They were getting annoyed. And I was hitting my head on the back of the seat being like, how many goddamn trailers am I going to see today? Every trailer that I've been trying not to see or just been like, oh, okay, I saw today. And the movie didn't start until 11:30. 30 minutes of commercials and trailers. Oh, I was so annoyed. Oh yeah, but this is a review of the Marvels. And let me get back to that actually. It's the most disjointed over the weekend. I've talked about the Marvels for 30 seconds. But here's what I had to say about the movie. Going into it, you know, I had open kind of expectations because I didn't have anything really strong. I didn't outright hate it. I was like, you know what? I'll see what it's got going. And there are some interesting things in here. I'll say the 3 leads are good. Miss Marvel steals the show in terms of putting in a lot of energy in a performance. So in that aspect, you know, she was great. Also, I liked the Miss Marvel show. That show was good. Captain Marvel was fine in this movie. A lot of the major plot points revolve around her in this thing, and a lot of like the central what gets the plot moving revolves around her. And she was fine. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too extreme. She did kind of have some like deer in headlights looks in like the first half of the movie. But other than that, you know, okay. Monica Rambeau, fine. Like she had stuff to do in the movie. Not a lot, but had stuff to do. And the villain, I don't even remember the villain's name. That's one thing I will say. The villain was very forgettable in this movie. And this was one of those weaker Marvel villains where it's like, okay, we got to give them a backstory. We got to give them kind of a reason to get the plotting point. And then the solution was like, oh, that's it? Oh, okay. All right. It was kind of weak. I'll say this was definitely a weak villain. There were certain aspects of like the shot composition that was kind of weird. I don't know if it's maybe like someone messed up at my screening and they didn't properly mask the image right. But there was a lot of points where it's like, man, there's a lot of headroom in this shot for like no reason. I don't understand why. But maybe that was just me. I felt there were some shots where I was like, okay. Like maybe it's me. Oh no, that kind of stuff always pops into my head when it comes to that. Now I'm curious to see when it comes to this movie how people take to it who have not watched WandaVision, who didn't watch Captain Marvel the first movie, or Miss Marvel. I'm curious how people who are watching this movie who haven't watched those are taking it, because they're gonna be like, who's this character? Wait, who's she? But don't worry, the movie does go through Exposition City for like the first 10 minutes, and they give you the lead in with the characters in case you didn't watch any of those. Now, if you're like me and you watched all of them, you're just like, oh, okay. When's the movie start? Yeah, I'm coming off like a curmudgeon in this discussion. I didn't outright hate the movie. I'll just say it's fine. There were some good scenes in the movie. There were scenes that had me chuckling. I was like, okay, it's nice. But it wasn't the most interesting in terms of the Marvel movies I've seen this year, especially Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That movie hit so hard. It had me laughing, had me getting excited, had me getting worried, had me in tears at points in that movie. Like, that movie was perfect for like a Marvel movie. It was such a high mark. And I didn't expect the Marvels would hit that, but this is more like a fun little popcorn movie where it's like, all right, this isn't like a huge serious movie, just let it go through its little journey. But I will say this much without saying anything: the best thing in the movie was legit the post-credit scene. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the post-credit scene got me hyped. I was like, oh shoot, I was all excited in the seat. I was like, hey. But yeah, that that was about it. Now, there is one spoiler thing I do want to talk about in regards to like the plot of the movie. So I'm going to give a spoiler warning. If you want to get to the last half, skip to there. But I have to talk about this one thing, because even in the theater, I was like, okay, I know this is a movie, but come on. So, into the movie, Captain Marvel goes back to Hala. She brings the sun back. They haven't seen the sun in many, many moons. They don't say how long ago it was, but it was long ago. So the sun's coming back, and they show the shot, the sun's coming back, the people are looking, and they're like, oh, the sun. And my first thought in the theater was, wait, these people haven't seen the sun in years. Wouldn't they be like screaming right now? Like, their eyes wouldn't adjust to that. Anytime they showed Hala earlier in the movie, it looked like Blade Runner. It was all dark and desolate. There's no sun. They were breathing through like N95 masks. Yet the sun comes back, and they're like, yeah, I can see. You should be hurting. People have to wear sunglasses anytime they're out of the sun for like a week. You've been out the sun for decades. Is that a nitpick? Probably, but I was just making jokes to myself internally, just like, damn, they got moles here. These people just fine. But that's not a criticism of the movie. That's just me making the dumb jokes. That did not affect my score. Which, now out of the way, you know what? Final thoughts on the movie. You know what? Fine. Well, the director did a good job. I respect the director that she said, you know what? This movie is an hour and 40 minutes. It doesn't need to be 2.5 hours long. You know what? Perfect. Not all the movies need to be that long. This felt like a fine pace to the movie. Flowed pretty well. And yeah, you know what? I give it about a low 3 out of 5. It's fine. You know what? If you have an interest to see it, go see it. If you didn't have an interest to go see it, well, you're probably not going to like it. Just wait for Disney Plus. Wait for streaming, whatever. So yeah, that's my disjointed review of the Marvels. As always, I'm John, GWC, and that's what I did over the weekend. See ya. Peace.